Huh. They redid the Ghostbusters theme. Well, I'll give it a listen. Why the heck, please? 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 Why the heck? Hello, welcome to another episode of The Guido Goes Off. Um, there's a lot. Let's just get to it. Well, the opening segment of Raw was kind of interesting, where Seth Rollins came out to the ring, grabs the mic, and says, well, I promised myself I wasn't going to address the Roman Reigns issue, but I addressed the Roman Reigns issue. Seth went on to talk about how he violated wellness, how he apologized on Twitter to everyone, and basically said he was an embarrassment, and embarrassed Seth in the process. We all know what this is. We all know who runs the show. We all know who pulls the strings, if you will. This is Vince's jab back at Roman Reigns, violating wellness. It should come as no surprise to any of us that this was going to happen. Above all else, in public, on Raw. I mean, let's face facts. Yes, there's a lot of egg on Vince's face with Roman Reigns violating wellness. I mean, the fact that he spent 2 years rocketing Roman Reigns to the top, to be his guy, the guy, the top star in WWE, all for a moment of weakness. Let's just put it at that. To ruin it. And don't get me wrong, I mean, it's been on the site since last week when WWE announced that Roman had violated wellness. I mean, let's face facts. It's usually they just say, "Oh, this happened," and da-da-da, and it's we don't mention it again. Don't talk about it until they come back. But Vince is petty. Vince is vindictive. Vince will take any opportunity to embarrass somebody who embarrasses him. I mean, we all know the Titus O'Neil situation. I mean, good Lord, Vince wanted to fire him simply for touching him. And here we are again. Now, don't get me wrong. What Roman did was wrong. Roman, deserved to be punished via the policies, which everybody should be under. I mean, if this were a few years ago, this might get swept under the rug, especially considering the fact that it is one of Vince's guys. A guy Vince likes. But it was Vince's order that all across the board, everyone is responsible for their actions, and if they violate wellness, everybody's punished. Even if you're Vince's boy. And like I said, this is egg on Vince's face, and yes, Vince is going to get his revenge, and that's what he's doing, taking it into a public forum, using his show to say, look what you did. You embarrassed me. Now I'm going to embarrass you, and I'm going to use my show to do it. I mean, it's asinine, really, and there's petty. I mean, but then again, what else what should we expect? Anything less? A recent quote from Barbie Blank, known to WWE fans as Kelly Kelly, got a lot of people talking on the internet, and for pretty much all the wrong reasons. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure she thinks her opinion matters. Who, but no things matter. So anyway, this is what she said. They're putting a lot more focus on the women too, meaning the current women's division in WWE. But I feel like they're shying away from the era of what I was, of the models. I don't really feel like there's a fan favorite girl right now. And I don't feel like there really has been. Sorry, I'm probably speaking out of turn, but like AJ was a fave, and you know what I mean. Now, right now, I don't feel like there's somebody that the crowd can get behind. Really. No one the crowd can get behind. No one that could be an inspiration to girls everywhere. No one that could sell merchandise or inspire fans to root for them. Someone who could get the audience engaged in their matches. I mean, there's got to be someone, right? But I guess we'll never know. I meant to talk about this on my last show, but, a bunch of stuff, on suspension, all this stuff I wanted to get through. This kind of went by the wayside, but there's also been some new developments. Something I've been covering quite a bit. Of course, we all know the brand split is looming. July 19th, the Raw draft, on the draft, on the the start of live SmackDowns. I did discuss about the pay-per-view situation. Well, last week, an insider on Reddit released the 2016 WWE pay-per-view schedule, which includes the brand split. So, what, from here on in, Battleground, it's going to be both, and thankfully, SummerSlam is going to be both. As probably has been previously reported, both Raw and SmackDown each will have a pay-per-view event each month. Basically, every 2 weeks, we're going to have a pay-per-view. One Raw, one SmackDown. Except for the 4 main pay-per-views. That being SummerSlam, Survivor Series, the Royal Rumble, and of course, WrestleMania. Alright, I'm going to stop that now. Starting with Backlash on September 11th, which will be a SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view, and also a network exclusive. They're bringing back Backlash. They've taken out Night of Champions and replacing it with Clash of Champions, which will be on September 25th. That is also going to be a Raw exclusive. They've also brought back No Mercy, and also Roadblock. Roadblock is going to be the final pay-per-view of 2016, occurring on 12/18. Now, I can understand this. When we did a previous brand split, there was, a back and forth. Raw would have one, SmackDown would have one, Raw would have one, SmackDown would have one, and then the main 4 would be both brands. Aside from the fact, thank God they're not bragging rights. Now you're gonna have every 2 weeks you're gonna have a pay-per-view. It's a lot easier for WWE to do this, and also a lot more cost-effective for the fans since we have the WWE Network. Excuse me. But really, this is almost an overload. But like I said, we've got the network. It's $9.99 a month. We get all these pay-per-views. So, in that way, it's a little bit better than it was the first time. You don't have to pick a brand. Some Raw and SmackDown are going to be readily available on your TV, however you watch your television. The pay-per-views are going to be on the network, which we all can get for $10 a month, or unless you do that sneaky type of trick thingy. I don't want to encourage that. So then, something else came up this week. Excuse me. As has been making rounds, of course, NXT call-ups. In the draft is a distinct possibility, and on maybe in the supplemental draft as well. What we had heard was there were going to be about 6 call-ups from NXT to the main roster. The 6 being, the main one being Finn Balor. Also talk of Bayley, Carmella, Nia Jax for some ungodly reason, and Chad Gable and Jason Jordan, the team of American Alpha. Well, apparently that might not be it. Because now rumors are, there's some talk that it's going to be anywhere from 10 to 12 NXT talents migrating to the main roster. I don't have any specifics, but one I've talked about with some people was the Revival, the current NXT Tag Team Champions, getting called up. And worse, they were going to be rebranded as the new Brainbusters. Now, the Revival gimmick is the Brainbusters gimmick revived. Yes, and that's the thing. Scott Dawson, Dash Wilder have been great in that aspect of that no frills, just simple wrestling gimmick. And yes, it screams the Brainbusters when Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard work together in WWE. But why just put that sign on it? I mean, everybody knows this. Why are we doing it? I mean, it's reeks of what they did with the Ascension. Basically trying to turn them into a New Millennium Legion of Doom. It makes no sense. It's stupid. If something works, why are you going to... It just... Find a happy place. Find a happy place. Find a happy place. Find a happy place. So, C.M.Punk did media rounds today, talking about UFC 203, where he will be facing Mickey Gall on September 10th. As we all know, after 2.5 years, this will be Punk's first fight in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Of course, this was moved from 202 to 203 to deal with some other injury, what have you. Of course, Punk was asked about WWE, his partnership with WWE came to an end, and he unabashed about it. He said he felt like wrestlers were treated like indentured servants by WWE. Even though that was the case, he put everything he had behind it. Now he's putting everything he has behind UFC. Of course, Punk hasn't been the only one to talk about this fight. Mickey Gall, his opponent, has talked about it. He said he doesn't want to be known as the C.M.Punk guy, that he's looking to be the best welterweight in UFC. Basically, not... It's odd. It seems like he's overlooking CM Punk, which I can understand. We've never seen CM Punk fight. We've never seen him step in an octagon. I mean, we know he's been training. We know for 2.5 years for this first fight. But again, you don't want to be known for beating one guy, but you don't want to be known as the guy CM Punk beat in his first fight. But again, we have to wait till September to find this out. On Monday, I was on my Twitter and I had heard about this hashtag that he'd come up about. Hashtag Wrestling Girls Break the Internet. basically female fans of wrestling, took to Twitter, posting pictures of themselves in their favorite wrestling t-shirts or with their favorite wrestlers, or just pretty much enjoying wrestling. Now, what gets me is that there was flack about it. They get flack about it from male fans. Male fans saying that, it's a guy, wrestling's a guy thing, or you're only watching it because some of the guys are, you think the guys are cute, and other things like this, basically debating these women of how they became wrestling fans. I don't get it. I don't understand why you want to put someone down like that because they like the same thing you like. I am all for this. I love that there are women wrestling fans out there. That's what it doesn't matter how someone develops a love of professional wrestling. It's that they have that love, that they want to share it with the world. I'm all for it. I support it. I mean, why do you think I do this show? Because I love professional wrestling. Because I want to share my love. And if this is how these women want to share their love, I am all for it. Go for it. I mean, honestly, proclaim it from the mountaintops that you love professional wrestling. We need all the fans we can get. We need more fans. I mean, if this gets more people interested in professional wrestling, I am all for it. I am all behind it. I tweeted about this. That we need all the fans, men and women, boys and girls. Because it's entertainment. It's like TV or movies or books or magazines. You want the biggest audience you can get. So you appeal to the biggest audience you can get. It's not a gender specific thing. It boggles my mind that there are people out there online that want to make something like professional wrestling gender specific, even though it's not. If it's out there, it's for everyone. Once it's out there, you don't control who consumes your product, who watches your show or your movies or that. And that should be fine. You want everyone to enjoy it. I mean, granted, not everyone will, but you want everyone who can possibly enjoy it to enjoy it. And that's why we all should watch some dang wrestling. And that concludes this episode of The Guido Goes Off. If you have anything to say about the topics I covered on this episode, feel free to drop a comment down below. And of course, you can always hit me up on Twitter, right there, at r_man_Guido. And of course, while you're here watching, don't be afraid to like, share, and subscribe. I am the Guido, and I think we're done here.